This 1 Degree Outside video is sponsored by the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest fair. You can pre-order your admission, meal, and ride tickets today at topsfieldfair.org and join the fun October 4th through 14th, conveniently located on Route 1, just off of Interstate 95.
Hi, Matt Noyes on a Sunday evening as we get ready to dive into the new week here. I want to get you prepped weather-wise. First of all, welcome to fall. It became official at 8:43 this Sunday morning, our autumnal equinox. So you're now into fall on the calendar and astronomically. Of course, meteorologically, we kind of say it began on September 1st when the weather patterns tend to shift just a little bit. What a storm it has been over the past several days. These are storm total rainfall from the last few days, all put together thanks to the SKYWARN Spotter Network. Did a great job of staying active throughout this thing with wind damage reports, with coastal flood reports, and with this, over 9 inches of rain at Chatham. About 8.5 at Nantucket at Nobodere Beach. About 8.25 in Brewster. About 8 inches or a little bit better than that at South Dennis. Eastham picking up 7 1/3 or so. And Provincetown with over half a foot of rain. It wasn't just the Cape and the Islands, although predominantly that was the focus. Kingston, Mass. picking up over 5 inches of rain out of our past 5-day total. Acushnet picking up 3.5. Raynham picking up about 2. And then you can see it really dropped off. It was either the haves or have-nots, essentially, right? Because Kennebunkport ended up with a trace, and when you get out by Sturbridge, hardly a thing that fell. And as expected, northern and western New England ended up fine for viewing foliage, even though you had a lot of clouds. That actually made for nice even lighting for your pictures, right? All right, so now we get ready for what's going to be a drying process, but still there's a northeast wind. We do drop to the 40s tonight in a bunch of spots under variable clouds. I can show you there's your overnight low temperatures, and again, many of us down to the 40s. It makes sense. A northeast wind coming in off the ocean keeps you a little bit milder where that northeast wind comes in, but it also keeps the waves rumbling through the overnight. There shouldn't be much in the way of overnight coastal flooding. There'll be a little bit more tomorrow we'll get to in a minute. School day feels like forecast next few days, going to start out in the 50s, end up feeling like the 60s during the afternoon. So this is not necessarily the type of weather where we had the last couple of weeks where you started out cool and ended up in shorts at the end of the day. Probably not this time around. Wednesday, there's a lot of clouds around. There is the chance of a passing shower both Tuesday and Wednesday morning at the bus stop. It's not going to be widespread stuff, but just so you wouldn't be shocked if that comes to fruition. On Monday, we are expecting tomorrow's highs to be running in the mid-60s for just about everybody. Once again, it'll be nicest in the Champlain Valley. At the beaches, there will still be the chance of some minor coastal flooding at a late afternoon high tide tomorrow when you get around Rye and Seabrook and Hampton. Anywhere along, even Plum Island, it's a possibility, minor coastal flooding for you. A lot of the rest of us going to be kind of past that. That is the case, too, when you get south of the Cape onto the Sounds. At the same time, with that northeast wind still going, the waves are still churned 5 to 6 feet near shore, but just offshore 8 to 10 feet, and that's a lot of power. So you have a moderate to high rip current that'll be at the beaches again. And just a little reminder, if you haven't heard so far, this is all because you asked for it, and thank you. It's so nice. You said, do you have any swag? Sure. We have it now, swag.onedegreeoutside.com. You can sport your support for what we hope is your favorite brand. Danielle and I always appreciate your support. And I got to tell you, we will be back again first thing on Monday morning with 1 Degree Outside Today and Noyes' Notes. Of course, and insights will come during the course of the day Monday. That's the deeper dive in the next several days. And keep those pictures coming. Do you know just in the last few days, we've received, let's see, our first overseas photo, which was awesome. They're coming in out of Alaska, and, of course, some great stuff out of New England. New photo segment comes up end of this upcoming week. If you want to see the one from this past Thursday with the foliage report, you can find that at onedegreeoutside.com as well. Have a great rest of your night. See you tomorrow.